It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, You can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
All right. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our featured patrons, UDAC, the Dig Family, JB Opto, and a big shout out, congratulations to Julia. She is a Texas Geocaching Association Hall of Famer, as part of the 2020 Hall of Fame class. So big shout out to JB Opto. Congratulations. GeoVet 91, Nitty Gritsky, E-Ray Bowl, Hoffer 15, H2SG2, Bimber, the Happy Hodag, and some returning patrons. O0 Ridland Kids 0O. I mentioned them last week, but want to mention them again. Geocaching Adam and Master Sergeant USMC are back as patrons. And a new patron, Thumper G and Texas Care Bear.
Oh, I like it.
Like that. If you'd like to become a patron, join the team. Click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or you can head on over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin.
I can't find mine.
That's okay.
But you put something else up there that
Derek
they
showing
got to get a hold of too, so they got to be part of that.
the now becoming very extinct if you didn't get one at a time, the leaderboard coin.
No, I really like those too, and we're not making any more of them. They're done. They're made. That mold's
That's
gone.
it.
So.
They're done.
But we have something very cool for new patrons that we're going to talk about tonight. So some people join just in time.
That's right. Exactly. So other geocaching items as well during the year. Bonus content. We'll talk about some of that. Invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at a tiny little bit. Bison tube level, just a bison tube size, $3 a month. So let me welcome first my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening. Glad to be here.
Glad you are here too.
Me too.
And not in a hospital room somewhere.
That is true. That hospitals are no fun.
Hospitals are no fun. So sponsor tonight. I tricked you. Are you ready for the sponsor?
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, you're ready. All right. The sponsor tonight is Cacher Ryzen. It's our good friend.
Trick me with that one.
Daniel Flieger out of Germany. He offers special trips for geocachers. They're exciting destinations, great geocaches in exotic countries, and much, much more to discover. They're planning a special trip, or they're planning special trips for different people. Ape Cache. Actually, this would be kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. It'd be a little dangerous, but I mean, I'm sure they know what they're doing. Go to like Chernobyl.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
And see what's left. It's a really weird, surreal place if you're familiar with Chernobyl and the fact that how people just up and left. But they obviously have their Geiger counters with them to tell them what's going on. They do have a trip, and I don't know what the status of the trip is, but they do have a trip for U.S. geocachers to come to Germany and do a German tour. And you end up in, really cool German cities to geocache in, and of course you end up in Hanover, which is one of the incredible places to.
They've got a couple geocaches there.
Absolutely,
I'd love to do that trip.
I'm confused as to how Ryan's on. He is supposed to be on a plane headed home, but apparently he is.
He bought the Wi-Fi on the plane. What are you talking about?
Yep. So I guess he's on there. So yeah, congrats to all the. So there were 3. I guess do we want to jump right into the news?
Yeah, let's do it. Jump right into the news.
Well, let's jump right into show 189.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Part of the team, part of the network. Derek Baker, Baker Six Clan is with us tonight,
Thank you. Happy to be.
and possibly Jeff is on. Let's see. Let me unmute you.
Let's see. Unmute yourself.
Is there sound?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yes. So we got part of the network here tonight to talk about various things. Oh, he's got his blackout coin. Woo!
Right.
So thank you guys for being on tonight to discuss several topics. So let me start with as we do some news. We'll get through the news quickly because we do have a lot to cover tonight. Yeah. Geocache Talk on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 997. So
3 more to go.
3 more. You never know. If you're number 1,000, maybe there might be something. I could guarantee anything there, but never know.
We're giving prizes away anyway, so there'll probably be a prize. So.
Right. People are happy. Nobody's happy to see Derek. What's the deal, man?
Sherry.
Show some love to Derek. Golly.
He saw me Friday.
Dang. So just got back from Texas Mega, which was incredible. It went wonderfully. Hopefully nobody got sick. We'll talk about Mr. COVID here in a minute, but it was as always tremendous time. The Adventure Labs were really cool. They had one that had us and had Derek featured as well, where you walk around and you scan a QR code. And when you scan the QR code, it would pull up a YouTube video. And the YouTube video would then show, I like that. Don't attempt to unsubscribe to become number 1,000. I will find you. I'll hunt you down. And I can't guarantee what happens. I like to Albedo. What happens if I unsubscribe and subscribe 3 times? No. No. Don't tempt us with that, I guess, is what they're saying. Oh, well. It wouldn't be. It's not big enough to be a large prize.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Derek. He'll be back. He's back. Yeah. The adventures were awesome. The caches were great. I don't know if you want to show the ammo can for the winners.
They
show that real quick.
Throw a mega down there.
And they all signed it. And, well, what a surprise. Guess whose signatures are all over the gold ammo can.
Who won this year?
This year, what do you know? The North won for the umpteenth time. Somebody needs to break that team up. We need to break them up.
For the audio listeners, can you explain to them what the video listener or video watchers are seeing?
Yeah, so we're showing the ammo can, the gold ammo can.
It's the big one.
The big kahuna for the winner of the Texas Challenge. They compete in the Texas Challenge is in groups. They also have individual challenge. I'll get to that real quick in a minute. But this year the winner was North. North has won many times. They will also tell you many times that they've won. No, they're a good bunch, but they did win. Southeast, very proud of the Southeast team. They won a couple years ago. They came in second, and my beloved East team came in third. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Houston, Texas Dave was part of the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
First North, second Southeast, and third was East. So, very cool. D's like, my hubby did that. Yes, he did.
He does a good job on those cans.
Yes, he does. They look tremendous. Tremendous time. We had the finishers event. I'm wearing my shirt, number 223.
There you go.
So that was a fun event. Charles Watkins runs that, Pathfinder 33. Does a tremendous job. We had a great time out at the brewery and had fun talking to everybody, getting our photo. We got so many finishers now that they do it by drone. So we had to have a drone take a photo of everybody because there's 233 through 231, something like that. Anyway, it is a pretty blue shirt. You are right, my friend. Before that, though, the night before this happened,
Oh yeah.
I have in my hand the network's Geocache Talk. Here we go.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Geocaching ambassador.
That's us.
Can't beat that. And
So
that's really, they put our names on that, but that's the whole network. You know, all of us.
the whole
work
network.
together.
You're right. Everybody's involved with that, and that's that really is a testament to the whole Geocache Talk network. Really is tremendous honor. I got tongue tied. I thanked a few people, and it was. I had notes, Jesse. I had a nice little short speech on my phone, but then I didn't think about it because I should have given the notes to Susan. I could read off her phone because my phone was tied up because we were broadcasting at the same time.
Hey, we're learning though, right? We're
Not
using
smart.
these experiences every time to learn how to broadcast these events
Yep.
for people that can't make them more and more. So we're going to learn something every single time.
Yeah, I know. Also, I didn't plan properly because I probably could have used the hotel Wi-Fi. That's okay. It is what it is, and
That's why we learn every time. We learn
Yeah.
more stuff every time we go out. We're not afraid to try. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
It's okay if you fail every once in a while. That means you're pushing it. So
Exactly. And saw a lot of patrons. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I stood by Julie D. I had to say it like that because we were talking. It's sort of a little bit inside joke, but we were at the brewery and she goes, well, you're standing by me. I go, I'm going to mention that tomorrow night, but I'm standing right here next to you, Julie D. So she's one of the finishers. Her and her husband is and the driver, Julie D. and the driver, and that's his geocaching name, and the driver. Isn't that great?
Great.
So fun seeing everybody. They a lot of everybody from the two all the way up to the 230s down to some of the early folks. Met a lady who her number is 17. So I mean, that's pretty cool that she finished it long ago, and she finally got a shirt. She didn't even have a shirt; she had a little plaque thing, but she finally got her shirt. So kudos to her for doing that, and just for the whole TXGA crew. Oh yeah, and Julie D won the poker game. Yep, you were correct. Julie D won the poker. She outlasted.
How many does that work out to be?
Huh?
How many coins does that work out to be?
Oh my gosh, it was a ton. Yeah, she had a bunch. What's funny is what they do is when you win, you're kind of like there's a draft. So you start picking coins, and so she grabbed a Ms. Pac-Man, which is a pretty rare coin. But she had put in a real nice WSGA or Washington State Geocaching Association coin. Just charge a daily coin. And so she was like, "Oh well, we're picking." And so I was like, I want to get Ms. Pac-Man, and then I'll get my coin back too. See that I put in for the ante, and somebody else grabbed her coins. It's like, oh well, whatever. So she had this shirt because she didn't have to wear it till the next night, and she had it full of coins, and she'd wrapped up like a big old like a hobo's knapsack full of stuff. She had a whole thing of coins, and off she went. So
65 coins in the purse.
wow. See, there you go.
That's impressive. That's a lot of coins.
That's a lot of coins.
But
I
it
have
was,
to buy like 3 more cases.
yeah, exactly. I mean, she's got, yeah. So
Then you just wait to the next leaderboard challenge and activate them all really quick.
boom, 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 boom. Yes. So just to wrap up for that, TXJ. Oh, there you go. Some Julie D. Houston Control, Cute Fuzz Monkey, and Paintball Valet. Paintball Vet. Yeah. Very cool. Marcellus was in the running too. He was like I said, we saw a lot of patrons.
He got his shirt recently too, right?
Yeah, he got it the other night. Yeah, he just finished, so he got his shirt. So we had a great time seeing everybody, and just to kind of wrap up the talk, is the TXGA puts on a tremendous event. So many cool things. The caches are incredible. The event is just so well done. The other person that was inducted, by the way, just to let you know, and everybody else, was Vertigos, which is a reviewer. So
that's cool.
They got another reviewer, which is very cool when they induct the reviewers. I love that. Got to meet the lackey from Geocaching HQ, so that was fun. I took a picture of me and her, and I says, "I'm gonna send this to Brian." She goes, "Okay." Why are you? And she's like, "Well, I had to, show that you were here." I mean, so he sent me a note back. It was pretty funny. Let me find it real quick. So Brian, so I sent him a note. And I said your lackey did a tremendous job. So I sent him this with the lackey.
Now I saw the Signal banner there. Did you get the locationless cache?
Well, no, I was going to wait and do that at Mingo. So yeah. So I said she did make it, and he said that's awesome. Have a great time. I said she's been a tremendous ambassador for HQ. So I have no doubt she's pretty wonderful. So yeah, she was great. She was from Austin originally, and she'd moved to Seattle and now works for HQ. But I don't think I've ever met a lackey I didn't think did a tremendous job. They really do such a great job of hiring people for that. Well,
you'd hate to see them hire somebody that wasn't good with being friendly and with crowds and stuff like that, right? That wouldn't fit in that job very well.
No, not at all.
That's kind of a staple for that.
Yeah.
But before we get to the full show, we still have one more thing we wanted to mention too, right?
Yes.
Which I think you kind of spilled because you were so excited in Texas the other day.
Yep.
So we are, how the network is always trying to add more and more to the landscape.
Yep.
So we're starting one more podcast.
Fifth podcast.
But this one's a little different.
Yep.
It is a brand new podcast. It has a whole new angle, a whole new direction that it's going to be going. We're not going to give all the details right now, which sounds kind of odd because it's a patron podcast. So this one is completely for Geocache Talk patrons. It's going to be definitely interesting, and we'll send out information to all the patrons coming up soon about all of that show. But you know what? We really wanted to give something special to the patrons. So this is going to be a interesting look behind the scenes and a whole brand new podcast, kind of just for the family.
Yes.
So, that'll be coming up soon, but we're not going to spend tons of time talking about that tonight because it doesn't apply to everybody, right? It's
right.
Kind of family stuff. So, plus we have a show and a half to do tonight. So
yeah, we do. So.
We got a bunch of stuff to do tonight. Do we want to go ahead and launch straight into the show?
Yeah, that's good for the news. Let's move on.
So you see four of us on tonight, and we kind of made it a change last minute because everybody knows what's kind of going on. Most people have already seen, if you've attended an event or anything like that, you've seen the announcement that came out from HQ. They're saying they're kind of working with state and local authorities. They're trying to make sure that all of our events are safe. And they give a few points to consider. If you're going to cancel your event, let users know that you're going to cancel the event. Put out an announcement. If you're going to archive the listing, do all that. They're not requiring anybody to cancel events right now, but they are saying be wary of what you have and just kind of use some safety rules. And we're going to kind of go over. They couldn't get into that in their announcement they sent out to everybody, but we're going to kind of delve into that a little bit tonight. What are some ways to stay safe and still go geocaching? I mean, our hobby is about going out and touching objects that strangers have put in the woods. So we got to find ways to be safe with that, right? So we are going to start with that tonight. We got several of us on. We're pulling most of our information from CDC, but then trying to adapt that information to geocaching. So CDC's information is for general life, but we do things a little different. We're kind of wacky. We're geocachers, right? So
That's right.
We'll kind of go through some of those things, and then all of us are just going to kind of jump in. We'll get through that, and we're still going to try to get to the geocaching profile because that was requested by a listener, and we don't want it to be all serious, right? Not that we're going to keep it all serious tonight anyway, but it's an important topic, and
it is.
Not all of the people that play geocache, the geocaching game, are 18 years old and powerlifter marathon runners. So we need to be careful.
Tom suggests you take a flamethrower to the ammo can before you open it.
That works on real ammo cans, just not the plastic ones.
It's good advice for the metal ones. Don't do that to the plastic ones, Tom. That's not really.
So I'll start off with our list, and then just everybody just jump in. I'll go on the bullets.
Yeah, please, you do that.
One, if first of all, don't panic. We see people out there panicking and buying everything up and going crazy. There's no need for that. Go on with life like normal, but you're taking more precautions. We'll kind of go over those, but don't rush the store. You do not need 8,000 cartons of eggs and a truckload of toilet paper. You're going to be okay.
We should let the entire public
there's problems in the coronavirus. As we kind of get into it, the theme of tonight will be geocaching is almost like a family. We've talked about it many times. Instant friends anywhere in the world, right? Well, now's the time when you really that really should show through. Mm-hmm. Help your neighbors, help people out. Keep in mind who's in your family. Check, in your local area, check on them. But then also keep an eye on the messages coming out from HQ. They're a small company, but they're a big company, right? They're responsible for a lot of people, and they're going to be trying to work with state and local authorities, and they're going to send out messages to update us too. So keep an eye on those. So then I guess the next thing, the elephant in the room is caching in large groups. How do we accomplish that?
Right. Curious KDB had a suggestion of time to look for lonely caches. So that's not a bad idea anyway.
That is actually really good. If you can stay away from, the bus stop caches right now, probably
Well, there's information.
I would go for some of those caches that are a little bit further away that may not be visited as much.
Well, there's information about how long the coronavirus can live off of humans, like on surfaces.
Yep.
And I've heard a couple of, but I think on stainless steel, it's up to 72 hours and down to 24 hours on cardboard. So lonely cache is not as in distance, but as in time. Yeah, go and rescue caches that haven't been visited for at least a few days.
Yeah. Crank your volume up a little bit, Jeff, my friend. Turn your volume up a little bit. You're a little low.
And this will be the one and only time you'll hear me say this on the show, but this is when I'll actually encourage people to go find earth caches.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Hold on.
Nobody's going to hear that.
Choked on my coffee here. Wait. Did I hear this audio correctly?
I'm choking on that one a little bit myself. It kind of hurts a little bit, but
Derek, what did you just hear? Did you hear what I think I heard?
I think he said something. Go find an earth cache.
I know.
Goodness.
But you know what? I care about cacher safety a little bit more now. So, in all seriousness, now's a great time. So, if you're in that risk population, and if you go to CDC's website, you can see what the higher risk populations are. If you fall into that group, you have to keep yourself safe, and they say stay indoors, but you're geocacher, so you're not going to do that. Think about earth caches. Think about virtuals, or what are they pushing right now? Lab caches. There's a bunch of adventure labs out there, and they're fun. So you don't have to touch anything. You can do those staying in your own car. A lot of them, you're pulling up to places. You don't have to get in big groups to do that. So if you're, if you're within that, if you're in the higher risk category, I would consider doing some of those virtual ones right now. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. The virtuals, the adventure labs. Those are all, since you're not having to catch a physical container, that'd probably be great for a lot of people.
Or you could work on multi caches as well that don't have physical components, information, projections, that sort of stuff.
True. Work on those mysteries.
Stacy suggested solve puzzles to find later. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Solve puzzles. We're not saying stop geocaching because nobody would listen to that anyway.
No, I'm on a streak right now. I can't stop.
Yeah. And people are on streaks. They can't stop, right? Webcams. I didn't even think about that. Webcams also.
Yeah, there aren't many webcams out there, but yeah, that is a suggestion.
But if you haven't done one, now's the time to do it. So events are another thing that's kind of tricky right now, but you can still attend an event. I wouldn't attend a mud wrestling event right now. However, regular events where you're not sharing food and water, food and liquids, those are probably still okay. Think about an outside event like at the park. If you're an event host, I would consider moving it outdoors instead of having it, in a small location inside. Maybe move it outside. It's good weather in some places right now.
It was nice down here this weekend. It was
give you more of a spread out a little bit. That they call it social distancing is what CDC calls it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not totally clear on what they mean by that, but I think it means don't hug up on people. So
don't shake hands. Now, one of the things that we did at our church today was when there's the big Ebola outbreak in, of course, Africa. They would bump shoes instead of shaking hands. They would bump shoes. But the other thing that we did was kind of went to the Asian style and kind of bowed to each other instead of shaking hands during greeting time. That's how we greeted everybody. So be creative. Make it a fun deal. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, and you hear a lot of people saying, "Well, I'm young and healthy, so it doesn't affect me." Okay, but not everybody in our sport is, right?
Right.
So we got to be considerate of other people too, and now, first of all, if you know you have the coronavirus, don't go out touching caches. Don't do that.
No.
See those, but spread out further than normal. Absolutely. You'll still be fine. Let's assume that caches could have the virus on them for 3 to 5 days or so. Find caches that haven't been found in a few days. Find those older caches, or new caches. It's going to be a real race to FTF now.
Well, I was just thinking as well, like with the amount of time that the coronavirus lasts somewhere, the owner of the cache that was just published has just been there. So can you hold off going for the FTF for a couple of days?
That's right.
Clean, as Houston, Texas Dave was talking about what he does. They get to a cache, they clean it, they open it, sign it, they close it up, and then they clean it, and they move on.
Mm.
You could do that. You could use, and so if you are in that, that higher risk category, consider using some precautions, right? We have some wacky tools that we use. Like what normal person keeps like a foldable ladder and a golf ball retriever and all these weird, tweezers. If you're going to do that, throw a pair of gloves in there. Throw a pair of gloves in your kit for a little while. Maybe you can use gloves when you're opening these things up, right? I mean, it's not that far-fetched to have one extra tool in there or some, Lysol wipes, something like that.
If you can find Lysol wipes.
Yeah, if you can find them, right?
Neil brought up something that you wanted to mention, Jesse, about the age.
Yeah.
Very true, Neil. And that's why we have to be careful of
majority. Right. Majority of the cachers, for the most part, like majority are older folk, as it were. So
yeah, my group team Smart.
Yes,
most of them are up in the mid to late 50s range as well.
Right.
And so we've got a whole list of the normal CDC stuff in the notes for tonight. So we'll leave those up and available, and links to CDC site. But I think probably the biggest thing we want to mention with this, at least my thought is, knowing that a lot of our, local area cachers are in that retirement age category. I would say let's hope this all goes away, right? But let's say that we're on the beginning of this and it's going to get worse and worse. I don't think it's that much to ask to reach out to some of the ones that you know may have some health issues, or check in on some of the ones that you know are elderly, or just any of them, right? If they're not showing up at events, I still think it's a good idea to check on your local people. I mean, I know all of us are very active, so, and I know the people in the chat room are too. So reach out to your local people and just check, whether it's by Facebook or, the geocaching messaging system. Just, hey, how you doing? Just want to check in on everybody. And now is probably a good time to really pull together as a group. Not physically as much, right? I know we're not going to be doing that, events as often or whatever, but definitely reach out to people, because they may be, a lot of cachers are solitary. You know what I mean? They're very solitary in their habits. So that's what my parting words on this topic would be, is just really check on the cachers in your area.
Yep. No, I agree. Pull together and check, like you said, check on each other and just be smart. Because the whole thing and we're not doctors, we don't play doctors on TV or anything, but from what we've all read, we know that this particular virus does have a weird thing where people can have it for quite a while and be asymptomatic, not show any. So you don't know, you can't go to, say, your local Walmart and look at the empty shelves and walk past somebody who doesn't seem to have any symptoms.
Yeah.
And follow them as far as touching surfaces that they touch. And you think, well, I'm okay because nobody's over here sneezing profusely or hacking up a lung. I mean,
Right.
So it's a really bizarre spreading virus because of the fact that people can spread it without realizing that they even have it. So
Tom said you should be checking on fellow cachers even if there isn't a virus. Well, I'd agree with that 100%.
Very true. Especially if you haven't seen them for a while.
But even more frequently now that we are brought together by a common game, but it's so much more in most areas. It's much more of a family, for sure. I mean, I think most of the people I know are cachers. I can say that easily.
yeah. Yeah, if you can get a 25-cent coffee at McDonald's, you're old. Hey,
They're not doing that right now. Did they cancel all those?
That's including him, by the way. So don't.
Yeah. So before we beat this to death, I guess the big thing is just check the precautions, know what you need to do, keep safe, because we do get out and touch things that other random people have touched. So be safe with that. If you can't do virtual ones and you are in that high risk group, just be careful with what you're doing, and kind of check in with people, check on your group in the area. That's the biggest thing I think we wanted to pass on. And I guess other than stop freaking out.
Yeah.
This is not the end of the world. Geocaching is still going to be here. We're still going to have lots of fun this year. This will pass just like everything else. And let's people decide whether they qualify for the 25-cent coffee or not.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Let's remember that we are here gathered together for a fun game. We still have it pretty dang good. So let's be good people in this time, right?
Yep.
Anything else we want to hit on that before we get to the fun stuff?
Stay tuned. Go ahead. What was that, Derek?
I mean, we got to stock up on supplies, but don't be a hoarder.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't hoard.
I mean, come on. We should not be running out of toilet paper right now.
No, come on. That's crazy.
I mean, I did figure out why we were running out of toilet paper. I think I saw this on a meme, and it was because one person coughs and 10 people crap their pants.
That's probably accurate.
So
that's true. I mean, even if you just have a little bit of a cough, people are afraid to just clear their throat because everybody's going to start.
I know everybody's like,
not a good time to have hay fever.
Nuts.
That's funny.
Out. I'm just clearing my throat. Everybody, calm down.
So anything officially comes out from headquarters, obviously we'll put that information out. We'll only put official information out. We're not going to put anything out that's just speculation, because we don't want to add to the hysteria and people thinking everything's canceled. Nothing's canceled. So everything's still on. We still have a huge year of geocaching ahead of us. So don't panic yet.
Yeah.
Well, I do know the event that was going to be in Jackson County, the agricultural
Georgia. Mm-hmm.
event has been canceled. That was right at the first weekend of April.
April. Yeah.
So that there it's not canceled; it's being postponed. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah,
So they're
postponed.
back to another time.
Yeah.
I know I was really looking forward to that because the maze was going to be out there. I was going to be getting signal. So then it was going to be a busy month. But for the totally support what they did because that's 2 weeks out from now, basically, and who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
They had to pull a trigger at some point. So I think it's a really wise call, and plans can change. And what's more important? It's our safety and our health than to these events now.
And the four of us are, you could at least say, obsessed with this game. That's an easy statement, right? We're deep into it. We travel around the world. We're tattooed up. We do a weekly show. We love this game. However, if I hope nothing happens and they don't have to cancel big events. But if they have to cancel big events and your biggest fear is that you're losing a digital icon because people are dying, we should probably all get over that, right? I mean, we'll live. We'll go find more caches later if it ever goes. We don't know what's going to happen, but if it does, let's keep things in perspective, right? Like we'll just go caching instead if things happen, right? But we can't.
It's just a game.
Be careful with how we treat this. This is a real issue. They're not canceling it because they're like, I'm tired that day, So
you got to check your priorities.
Yeah, and that's coming from four people that are obsessed with the game. We all love the game, but you know what? People do need to live, so there's that part of it too. So, I just stop the fear. That's the big thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to the local health regulations and what they're recommending for everybody to do, and just follow along with that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're going to start on talking about profiles because I'm fascinated by the topic because I don't know. All I have is my Project GC info out there. Jeff, you will have to turn yours up a little bit more, buddy. Your little
I don't have
light.
a microphone volume on the phone.
Can you get closer? Can you get closer to you? Maybe, if possible.
How's that?
Love it.
We'll work through it. All right. So gonna turn this over to you guys because I'm along for the ride because I have a very bleak geocaching profile. Like I said, I stuck my Project GC note out there and that's about it, which I guess we'll talk about that too, because it's kind of cool to see other people's geocaching. I'm sorry, the Project GC. I put my Project GC link, which I think is kind of cool when people do that. But let's start at the beginning before I jump into that.
So I guess to clarify what we're talking about too, we're talking about the profile page, the main the about page on your geocaching.com profile, right?
Yeah.
And a listener suggested this. They said we've mentioned it before, but never really done a show on it. And if people aren't aware, and I'll
might show a good one because
I'll pull mine up real quick.
Yeah, because yours will look much better than mine for sure. I know that. I'm pulling mine up just to kind of follow along.
So is that showing now? It is. Okay. So we're talking about this about page, and what a lot of people don't realize is that you can add all kinds of information in here. And this is basically like, it's not, but it's basically like a free web page, right?
It is.
You put all your information under Project GC stuff.
Love that.
I love the Project GC stuff, right?
Yeah, I do. I love that. I wish everybody would do that at the very least. If you don't learn anything else tonight, please put your Project GC info out there because it's so much fun to read those.
Well, and I don't know what the others of you have put on your page, but have you added a few things to it, or what have y'all add? What do you have right now on your about page?
On my about page, I have just a little bit of my profile information, and then I have the long stats from Project GC on mine.
Yeah, that's pretty common, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Project GC, don't they make it as one big image?
Yes,
I'm not
it
sure if
is.
that's
It
changed.
links to it,
It is
yeah.
an image that you can do, but you can go through each of the milestones, FTF, heights, maps. I have the larger one on mine.
Yeah, you can customize it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can customize what you want on there. But I like how Jesse's was, where you had the different other pictures in there, and I may go back through and redo some of mine.
Yeah,
So,
let's pull that back up, Jesse, because that was pretty cool. We have to go through
okay,
that a
I'll
little
pull
bit.
mine back up, and I haven't updated mine in a while, and I kind of waited because for the show so I can update mine again. But I'll kind of put it up there, and we can all kind of
talk
go
through
over some of that. But
sure.
Is that back up again?
Yeah, it's back up.
So my wife and I, the CFO, we put this page together because, well, for us it's a family deal. So when we put out our first book, obviously we put that on there because it was a project we got to do together. So that's kind of top billing for us right now, and it's a project we're really proud of, and we got to work together. But each year we that went above the other stuff we have, and of course there's links in there too. But this is something we update every year. So this is our 2020 goals for us, and I put published, and that's actually the next book that we're working on. And then the CFO wants to complete the Colorado County Challenge. So you can really you can do all your HTML in here. You can add all of this as you want. We put our cache finder stats on here, which is kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
And then we kind of went into our personal philosophy of the game. So just because like I said, most of the people we know are from geocaching. So this is kind of our calling card, right? I mean, this is how to get in touch with us, kind of the stuff that we think about the game. And all this is just our personal philosophy on things. And then links to things. You can link here to, like, we love to do events.
Yeah.
You can add links in there to your profile.
Darwell's asking about how we do that. And I was just going to say, we'll get into how you edit in a moment. We're just kind of giving you the overall right at the moment.
So we'll do that. Let's go into the edit thing. So I just added a few more things there.
Is that Jesse without a beard in that picture?
Say that again?
That picture with the kids looked like the Grand Canyon. Was that you without a beard?
That was me without a beard. That's when we first moved here, and the kids were very little. We were at top of Pikes Peak.
I got to pull up your profile.
I couldn't grow a beard I could grow one. I wasn't allowed to have one when I was in law enforcement. So
okay,
I didn't get to grow up till I was in my 40s.
It's good.
But it's funny, we leave that one up there. Well, some people probably already know why we leave that one up there, but there's some stuff hidden in that picture. So we leave that one up there.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool idea too, is you can have fun with it and add trackables into your profile page. Just kind of make a fun little.
So we have those. So I'll kind of show, if you want to, we'll kind of go over this.
Yeah.
Right.
Share your screen there and just edit.
Screen again.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be a video heavy show. So people that aren't listening to the video, you kind of have to either go back or just kind of play along with your own profile. But if you go to your profile page, the very top part where it's got your finds and your favorite points.
Go like that so we can see it a little bit better. Go ahead.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying we're gonna make it. I made it a little bigger.
By the way, we haven't talked about this, but they've added the favorite points on here of caches.
I know. I love that. I do too.
Your last visit and all this. So at the top right is the little wheel, the gear wheel, whatever you call that. I don't know. If you go into that section, it pulls up the profile information section, and that's where you set your picture and your cover photo. But if you scroll down a little bit, you have a full window down here, which a lot of people never really mess with other than to paste that one project you see in.
Right.
You can write all that code in there.
Yeah.
So
can you do it without having to know code? Because I know a lot of people are going to ask that question.
So how would you do it without knowing code? The answer to that is you steal it from everybody else.
Cut and paste.
So if anybody doesn't know, if you're on a Mac or a PC or whatever else, if you go to a web page or somebody else's profile and you want to, copy what they have, you just view the code. So I think on a Mac, it says View Developer Tools, and you can see the code to it. On a PC, I don't know the answer to that one, but I think it says
most browsers you can right click and then that context menu drop down will have a view source or something like that.
Yeah, view source. That's what it is on PC. So you can copy pretty much any of those. You don't have to know code, and you can copy their code and then just change it for yourself. The good thing
You can
is
find what you want,
right,
because the background code, the HTML behind a lot of these pages is really, really complex. So trying to locate, usually I'll usually do like a Control F for a piece of the text that I know is on the page, and then that'll find it in the source code, and then work from there.
Yeah, Control F for people is that's like find. It is a find, so you can
So the way to do that too is on it's user supplied content. If you're ever looking at a geocaching page and you want to find what the user did, the right after user supplied content, when you're looking in that code, everything after that till the end of it, to the end of that section is what they typed in, their code. So you can cut and paste that and put it on your cache page. You can use it for your profile page. I don't think it takes. Does it? Maybe one of you know. I don't know if it takes everything in HTML or if it's a limited subset like it is on the cache page. But everything I've tried on there pretty much works, other than like CSS.
Yeah, they've been doing a whole lot of editing to what's allowable in HTML on the profile page as well. And even I just went through to make an update to my profile and noticed that as you now have to upload images, you can't host your images elsewhere on third parties. So I made a change and tried to save, but it won't save because it knows that some of my images are hosted on a third-party website. So I have to make a whole bunch of changes. So it does what we call sanitize. It goes through the HTML source and then determines what it allows and what doesn't, what it's not allowing. So
if you're going to put a picture on there,
text.
If you're going to put a picture on your profile page, somebody's starting from scratch right now, and they want to put their favorite picture up there.
Yeah.
How would they do that then?
There is now an upload option. So on that you had it on the page there on the editing when you're viewing the content of the page, there's a button to upload an image, and that, as long as it's a valid image, should work.
So how do you get to that? Can you share that? I don't see that on mine.
I don't see it on mine either.
You may have something newer than us.
Profile photo, and you have a cover photo.
Okay, well, when you're editing the text of your profile content.
Of the about area.
For the about area?
Yes.
I still don't
You
see
may
it.
have a different version than we do.
Can you share your screen?
Can you put it up on the screen?
Yeah, I'll show mine here. So for mine,
tech support here.
Yeah, tech support. Look, so there's what it got, and mine are still linked pictures.
Yeah, so scroll up.
Scroll up a little bit there.
Up this way.
Oh, you don't have the HTML. Oh, maybe because you're still on the old dashboard.
I don't know.
What's the
I don't think I'm on the
profile?
dashboard.
So okay, well now we've learned something. There may be some differences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with mine, so you get to upload it. If you don't have that, you would have to upload it to another site and link to it, right? Where would you typically upload that for somebody?
An image hosting provider.
Like
there's a bunch out there.
Yeah. So
one of the other options that people do is use an old cache that they that's either archived or something, upload it to the gallery, or even just your personal photo gallery, upload the image there,
link it that way,
and then grab the URL. And
I do that a lot. I have a cache, my first cache that I hid. It's got like 30,000 photos on it. It's not really that many, but it's got a bunch of photos on it. I'll just add a note every once in a while and upload some photos for a new cache, because I know it'll always be stable within their system.
Yeah.
But like if you put it on like Photo Bucket or one of those other ones, it can be a little hard.
Yeah.
So,
a couple things. Darrell says seems like a lot of work. Actually, I don't think it's really a lot of work. I know he's looking at the older profile. I was going to bring that up as well, just so we can show that you can click on the old one and click, instead of using the cog. You can click on edit profile, takes you to the same location. But one thing to remember, Direwolf brings up, I guess, a good point by asking the questioners, is that this is very much what you would do if you wanted to create puzzle cache, because a lot of the information you're going to learn tonight is what you can also use on a cache page.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that information, a lot of the tools that we're showing tonight are tools that you can use for a cache page.
Well, and I think the idea here too is you don't have to update your profile page, but what we're always talking about is if you want to go that little bit extra, right? There's some profile pages out there that are fantastic, that people have some great information on there. They have some good stories. People that are really passionate about one particular topic will often put that information in their profile page because they want to share that information, right?
Right.
Like whatever it is, if you're, that crazy county hunter, or, you're really into the old caches or whatever, or some particular type of cache, a lot of times, or, whatever part of the game that you like, a lot of times people will put that information there to kind of highlight it so people know about it, or just about them and their journey. It's completely optional, but it is something, if you're going to maximize every aspect of the game, and you have a free webpage there, that's part of your $30 a year, right? So
yeah,
definitely take advantage of that as you can.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend, like, there's so many benefits of actually having your own website, your own domain name.
Mm-hmm.
But especially when it comes to geocaching, you can put a whole bunch of stuff on there. You can host files and link to videos, all that stuff on your own domain name. And you know that it's there. You know it's going to be there as long as you have that domain name. You got email. Like, there's tons of stuff that you can do. Even if you don't set up a website content, you have hosting. You can make use of that for whatever you want.
And for me, it's more that I like to try out every single thing that the game has to offer. If, any bit of it, if it's profile page, if it's a type of cache, if it's any kind of experience that they have, I want to try that out. Hide puzzle info on your profile page. I'm glad you said that. I love that idea. And I think that would be perfectly legal.
Yeah.
Depending on how you linked it. I'll give a little hint to what I've done, because some people in the show already know this. So let's go back to the profile.
Yep. Looking good.
So, all right. On my profile, you'll notice a couple things. If I highlight it there, can y'all see that?
Which
the
one
highlight area that's scrolling across?
Oh. Above your name?
Marquee.
The marquee.
The little marquee right there. Those are all
trackable. The marquee going across there.
So those are all trackable.
It's so obsolete, but the browsers still support it.
Yep. If you look down here somewhere, there's more hidden in here. So hit a bunch in white text. Now here's an interesting thing. This is why this picture stays in here. If you hover over, where is it? Hold on, let me find one.
One of them.
There it is.
Okay.
See where I hover over that? Do you see the trackable pop up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a dozen or so locations in here where if you hover over it and stop,
you'll see a trackable pop up.
There's one on the CFO's face. There's another trackable that pops up. So the fun thing with that is, I hit those trackables in there a long time ago. And a lot of those trackables, they're from dead trackables. So, or that ones that have never been released. So if anybody discovers those, I know they're playing around on the profile page.
Yep.
It's kind of a fun game there. And in some of my trackables, I had links to other trackables. So it's kind of a game and a game and a game or whatever.
Yeah.
People start going down that rabbit hole. So I would assume that the puzzle would work just the same, right?
Right.
Yeah, it depends on how on the structure of the HTML. I think like your profile page has a lot of standard HTML done up in a tricky kind of way, which is great. But a lot of the stuff that you can do in HTML is not allowed. There's no scripting anymore, for one thing.
Right. You have to find a way around it, right? But that's the fun part of it.
Yeah. We used to be able to have, say, just like in Project JC, different tabs where if you clicked on one, it would change the content. Not anymore.
Right. I mean, it's a place that you can play around with. You can put keys to solving some of your puzzles. You can put hints. You can put trackables. You can put whatever your personal your passion is in the game. Like everybody has their favorite part of the game. Why not put it in there?
Right.
And yeah, if you take some time and look at people's profiles, there's some really interesting information out there. Some people will just put a list of milestones of their favorite caches, even though milestones in another area, they want it to be prominent, right? They want to draw attention to it, or their own accomplishments.
Yeah, and when editing your profile about content was relatively new, the huge trend was to put those custom badges in there. Like before challenge caches existed, there were websites that said if you accomplish this and this and this, then you can use this image source, this badge image, and stick it on your profile. And so that was a huge popular aspect of customizing your profile, is plastering your accomplishments on your profile.
Yeah. Now there are badges, but there are some things out there that Houston, Texas, Dave. So that's actually a mapping code within HTML.
Yeah.
The answer to how do you do this or that is Google everything.
Yeah.
I Google everything that I do. I don't have a computer job. I don't do computer stuff. I Google everything. If you want to do it, it's on Google.
Yeah.
Every single time.
As a web developer, when I saw you do that, I was trying to think of various ways you could do that in HTML. And I'm going to guess that it's either a table that you split up, or considering also the limitation of the HTML that's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
It's either a table that's split up, so you've got a background image and you've got like a cell at the right spot, or you've aligned an image somewhere. So that hover text is kind of a caption. So there's an alt attribute for an alt text. You could have a title attribute for text as well. There's a few ways to accomplish it. That was neat.
It's sometimes you have to find a different way to skin a cat, right?
Yeah.
Let's checking out profiles. So there's some challenges out there that are no longer allowed, right? Like obviously, I'm always going to go back to the challenges because that's one of my favorite aspects of the game.
Sure.
But just because a challenge is not officially allowed to be published doesn't mean you can't put it on your profile page.
Right.
Throw a challenge out there that you want people to do, and then highlight them if they accomplish it. Just on your own page. You can start your own challenge page right there. There's really not many limits to what you can do on your own profile page within common decency rules, right? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, within common sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's neat. I've looked at a few. I like, and we won't have time tonight. Really, I don't know. Well, we might have maybe we take a few minutes and talk about what you can log, because I one thing I really like, and Jesse, you might be able to show at least an example, and that is because we've all seen. I don't know. It seems like it's getting worse as time goes on. People's log, their electronic log on a cache page, is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, I'm excited when somebody just says "great find," which to me is a terrible.
So we're gonna try to cram all this into this show. Okay, all right. We had like 3 shows we're gonna put together in one. So
maybe just give a little taste.
Yeah, I got it. And before we start, I'm gonna say that I am a terrible logger. So I'm not being hypocritical when I give my opinions on this, but
I like yours. I like what you put in yours.
Well, one, if I remember to log it, which I don't a lot of times, I've forgotten to log a lot of caches. Whatever. It's how I play the game, right? Whatever. Yep. From another show.
It is for another show, but it's also for this show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about.
However, I am really bad about the template. Cachely makes it so easy.
Yeah.
He just ran out of the room.
I saw Jeff for a minute. That's okay.
I really blame it on Cachely. So he had to go get his drink for another show.
He had to get another drink. There you go. That's for another show. There you go. Perfect. Way to go, Jeff.
Cachely with those keywords, it makes such a good template. So I'm going to start by blaming myself. It's my fault. But then go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, but it's really. I like when you came down and we went to the Tyler, Texas Challenge, and we were logging caches together. It's like I'm trying to write something good, and I try to the point. Yeah, this is not what you're supposed to do. That's a bad Dave. Bad, very bad, Dave. You're
Or you know what? +1, right?
very bad, Dave. Uh, but I liked how you put in some good info. I mean, some of it kind of ties it to
I
me.
try to. And here's what this is going to sound terrible and against the message we're trying to give out. However, a unique log is for a unique cache.
Yes.
Not every cache you can write a story to. LPCs, I don't make fun of them. I like them. I'm glad they're in the parking lot. I'm very happy. But unless you're totally making up a story, there's not much to say there other than thanks. I appreciate the owner for putting this cache out, that kind of stuff. But
Right.
that's pretty boilerplate,
Yeah. It really depends on like the overall
Okay,
experience.
and Royals fan, you can wait till the end of the show to discover all the trackables. I'm getting all the emails. Boom, boom.
We started to get oh yeah.
Boom, boom.
Don't say that because people are going to still start log. They're going to.
I don't care. That's why they're there. I want people to discover every one of those because But
No, but Jeff's right. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, but think about how much better even a template is from. I mean, I get blank. I mean, I'm sure y'all do too. I get a blank log. And it's like, really? I mean, you didn't.
The one that bothers me the most is I have a virtual, and it's at a great place, and then you get a TFTC, and on the virtual, and it's like, okay, wait, you just had to do an Alfendor cipher on a sign. Come on, tell me something a little bit about that.
Yeah, say something. I mean,
yeah.
You're talking about LPCs. Like right now with doing the streak, trying to do it, well, I'm hitting LPCs a lot right now. But I'm still I have a template at the bottom of mine, but I would say, hey, needed a fast cache for today. Thanks for putting this out. And if I had to replace or add a log to it, I'll let them know immediately. But I say, hey, just continue to streak or fill in a hole for the calendar for 366 still or whatever I need to put on there. I put a little something about it.
Something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, because I think there are some
point
people
here that somebody put up. They were caching for a year before anybody told me the log was for the CO, and putting TFC wasn't the goal. If you've never really been told, you don't even, and you've never hidden a cache yet, why would you even think about the other side of it? You wouldn't. But once you put out a cache, then you start seeing the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't realize that your logs aren't just for you. They're also for the owner. They're also for the community. A lot of people read this.
Yes.
Well, like this is a tip that we gave out at on Geocaching with Kids. Nikki and Chris both have iPods, and they log their own caches now.
Oh, good.
And they have one that they're working on their sentence structure. They're working on this, but they are not allowed to have TFTC as the only thing in their log.
Right.
They have to tell about the experience. So it helps in that aspect of it too, for them even learning how to do these, tell people how things are going.
Right.
I don't even write TFTC anymore.
I don't
on
either.
the very, very briefest of occasions will I put TFTC. I actually write out thanks for the cache now.
Well, so here's the thing. Geocaching has tons of acronyms, right? And this is what you were kind of bringing up originally. And it's funny to know all those. And they were in the GPS maze and stuff like that. And I think Gary and I and Derek, you may have been there too when we were doing it. We were trying to guess some of them. Some of them I never heard of. They're kind of regional. But
Yeah.
is it really
Some
the
of them
best
very
way to write a
regional.
log? Does it save you that much time? I mean, because either one, the owner knows it and has seen it and is bored of seeing it, or two, they don't know it and they're like, what is this dude saying? Am I a paper? What's going on? Even if you're not going to write something very original, I'm not a big fan of acronyms. Now, I've done it from the beginning, but so one thing I use on Project GC is you can see the longest and shortest logs.
Yes.
So I go in there all the time, and my shortest log is always one word, right? Because back at the very beginning, I'd put like ... with the intention of going back and writing a log later. So I tried to go back and correct all my original logs. Like, hey, you know what? I didn't know at the beginning. I'm glad you hid this. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot with this. That kind of deal. Something at least to thank the owner. They may never see it. It's just to teach me a lesson for doing something so crappy in the beginning. So I'm going to go back and do all
I've
mine.
also gone back to some caches and then scrolled right back to the beginning of the logs just to see what some of the initial logs are like. So you never know. Somebody could see your ... and be like, oh, that Memphis Mafia.
Yeah. Oh, that's not very nice. Or But
I saw on a Facebook group one of them, somebody put like a period, and that was all it was.
Yes,
That was a default, I think, for a short period of time. I think that was a default
you were
on an app.
Yeah. you were forced at one point. Yeah, you were forced at one point. You had to put something.
Yeah.
And so I was getting a letter, just a random letter, and then. So I'm looking on mine, by the way, log length. My longest log is 209 characters. I'm wondering what the heck I put on that one. I don't know I have to look that cache up. My shortest is 1. So
you have that PFTC log. Shame
bad
on you.
bad cacher. So,
And
and
with cell phones now, you can do the talk to text.
yeah,
Yes.
If you want to save time, I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to be talking or singing to your radio as you're driving down the road anyways. Talk to your phone for a second and then keep on going.
So, I know technology. I'm not a complete fool when it comes to that stuff, but I was out caching with Joshua one day and we found the cache and he started just talking into his phone. And I was like, why have I never done that before? Of course, he's always talking, right? So it seemed kind of normal. I was like, why have I never done voice to text in these logs before? Because Cachely will take it.
Yeah.
Why? I sit here and try to write something, but just talk about the thing. And it's, we don't shut up. So why would we not think about that? And now I try to do voice to text a lot, or I'll have the little one when we're going out caching. She'll do voice to text, and it's terrible, because there's sometimes. But I'm going to go back and correct every bit of it because I'm that mean dad, right? So you got to get that with proper syntax now.
Yeah, I think I just put +1 on the county challenge. So
they would run you out of Texas.
I would if I did that. It's a lot of work to just put +1, but yeah. But no, you're right. That's a but and this is for another show. But I don't know how we teach cachers that, and I think we've all, I've tried to send a really nice, calm, nice note to people. Yes, they will shout profanities. Yeah, I've seen that.
Be careful when caching with friends and using that.
Yeah, but I try to say, hey, were you out with, and tried many times to, +1 will get you so much shot. Yeah, and of course, as all you all know, you just don't seem to get responses. And they usually. It goes back to trying to get people to continue to cache, but also to sort of learn proper geocaching etiquette. And that's not, I don't know. There's got to be, I don't know if there's a way we could put the cache back in the right location. Make sure you put the cap on correctly so you don't screw up a bison tube. Don't fill up the logbook writing across it. I still see that. Don't use a gigantic stamp. This is Jesse's favorite because Jesse just smart. He'll write inside of it. But
yeah, that's right. If your stamp has extra spaces, I'm going to write right in the middle of it.
There's a tiny one. That's a good one. That's a good size.
And then everybody. It stamps and just up to a lot around it or to the side of it. I'll write the kids' names on it too.
That's smart.
It's just common courtesy, right? But we have to remember that all the time. The problem is, I think a lot of times I don't think people intend to be rude.
Right.
I think they just get in a hurry because we all get obsessed with the game and we get.
That's like a book. 427 words. That must have been a great cache, right?
Well, have you ever done a log that was more than one log because you have a maximum character length?
Yes.
Split it into 2.
That's cool.
You can only do 1,000 words, right?
Characters, I think.
1,000 characters.
Yeah.
Then you have to do a write note after that, Jeff.
Yeah, because I've got one that's 758 words.
Right.
So,
so you
that
do
must have been split.
Yeah, my log's was 759. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do a find. You do a found log and then do like a write note log to add the rest of your. Wow, that's a lot of conversation there.
That is very rare. That only happens on the best of occasions, the best of caches.
Right.
Right. That you have to prove a whole bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah.
Or like the story of the entire experience is just so amazing, so fascinating. You want to share it all.
Right.
Well, you want to document it for yourself too, right?
Yeah.
You know, and Ron has a good point. Just to trying to get the newbies to come to events, so you could kind of do a little bit of 101 with them.
So there's a perfect example. I think we get in a hurry because we're all want to cache, right, and get to the next cache and all those other things. And sometimes we don't slow down and actually do the things the lessons that we put out there. We kind of forget, and we all get in that place. The other day, I was almost guilty of that. So I went to find a cache, and my daughter and I have been finding caches on her way to school lately because there's some in the neighborhood, and
right.
So we pull up to one, and I was like, okay, this is the only one kind of in the area left that we're going to find. And I pull it up, and the last three little circles, the smiley faces, were DNFs. I'm like, ugh.
Golly.
And it hadn't been found since like July of last year. And I'm like, come on. So I look at them, and it's nobody, not there. And then so I go to the profile like I always do. I go to the profile and check. The person hasn't logged in like 6 months.
Right.
I'm like, ugh. I wanted to be really snarky. I wanted to get on there and go, get this. This is stupid. This is why I wasted my time coming over here.
Yeah.
And but it didn't. I looked at it and I noticed it was a brand new and newer cacher at the time. And I was like, so I put a nice note on there. I put it as an ease archive because it's been 6 months. The guy hadn't logged in. Multiple people tried to find it. It's not. I went and checked it myself. We went and got out, even though it wasn't there. Went and checked, and it wasn't even close to being there. It was supposed to be an ammo can under the bridge, which is a pretty obvious place to,
right.
Small bridge, a footbridge.
Right.
I went and I know that kids walk on that bridge on the way to school.
People take
So
it.
I put in the archive, needs archived. I was like, this is not here. It hasn't been found in 6 months. Multiple people. The guy's not in the game anymore. Sadly, and actually was nice about it, even though I wanted to be snarky, because I was mad. I was like, sadly, it looks like we lost a geocacher. The person is no longer in the game, not responding to multiple DNFs. Needs archived. So I get a message because I always put them on a watch list when I do that.
Sure.
I get a message 2 days later, and the owner comes back in and goes, I'm brand new, and I totally missed this, and I have not been in the game for a long time. And he replaced it that night.
Oh, neat. That's great.
And I went out the next morning. He replaced it with a brand new ammo can, fully stocked again, everything.
Wow.
Now it's going to be stolen, unfortunately, for this kid because it's in an area that's absolutely going to be stolen again.
But you might have saved the catcher.
It's important.
But he was responsive, and because of the night, he even I'm sorry, I didn't really realize what was going on. I didn't pay attention, and I didn't get my notifications or whatever. So that could have turned that person off. And then, not that I would have ever known, but we don't want to be responsible for running somebody out of the game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think the hardest part is when it's a very common thing that you see all the time that gets you really annoyed. And then somebody who's new does it, and everybody launches on them for doing this, and they had no idea because they're new.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
we all did those things. We could do a show, I'm sure, a whole show sometime about the mistakes we made in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of them because I'm always kind of aggressive and pushing the line anyway. I did the same at the beginning. I was just ignorant and I didn't know what I was doing. So luckily people didn't run us off right now because we've been in the game for years and we love it.
Yeah. I think my approach has been from now on, and this has been the way for quite a while now, is 100% of my messages to someone who needs to get a message to them for some reason is always trying to help and never be snarky or this is wrong, or because there's no need for those kind of messages to geocachers.
There's not. Yeah.
There isn't.
Right.
Well,
Try
on Facebook groups.
Yeah. They do.
I've had a few like that with earth caches where, say, somebody logs their find in an earth cache, and then a few days later, there's still no message, no response. I go check out their profile and find out, it's like the second earth cache they've done. Even then, I might not send a message right away. I might see what they logged for the other cache as well.
Right.
Because it might be a copy paste. It might be something new. So usually that message, like you said, is more friendly and just kind of open to explaining, hey, it looks like you might have forgotten, or if you didn't know, this is the sort of thing, like just kind of a helpful message. And hopefully they did get the information that they can send over to properly complete the earth cache.
Right.
Right.
I've done that a few times on my virtual too.
Yeah, you don't want to be mean to them, even though it is something you've seen. What I get a lot, because I have a lot of challenge caches out there, and the challenge caches I have are generally, what depends on, some of them are generally a lot more difficult, right? But if you don't know what you're doing, like I've had one that's, I don't know, it's like related to 5.5s of every different type and every different size, right? Okay, so it ends up being like 30 caches. Well,
Right.
it'll be somebody's like third find. And I'm like, man, it'd be a brand new cacher and they find it. And some of them are kind of hard finds too. And they're like, oh, this was so much fun. I can't believe this little thing was there. And I feel so bad because I have to tell them, sorry, dude, you don't get credit for this cache. And you have to delete this. You feel so bad for them. But
well, yeah, that's the hardest
because they don't know
when somebody doesn't do what's required for it. It's like, it's on one hand, oh, it's just a game, it's just a fun, whatever.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, well, there are certain requirements that you have to do in order to accomplish, to earn a fine.
Right.
And you want to kind of teach that lesson, but not in such a way that seems mean. And it's hard to do that sometimes.
Well, it was like I had somebody take a picture of the sign that you're supposed to on my virtual to decipher the code. I had to go in there and delete it, but I sent them a message and I said, hey, can you go ahead and repost it? I know you're there. But
Right.
go ahead and redo it because this was your second find. I see that. But can you just go ahead and relog it? I had to delete it, but don't put a picture of the sign in there because I'll ruin it for others.
Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah.
So,
what I do, what a lot of people do is if I have to send one of those messages, I'll make sure that they know how to contact people. I'll say, this is my email. If you ever have any questions, and you check out where their finds are. They're usually local, that kind of deal. And I'll mention to them a lot of times, like there's a good way. We have local events here that happen all the time. We're extremely lucky in my area.
Yes.
Monthly events, weekly events, everything, right? And I always tell them, like, we have workshop events that you can always go and learn tons more, and the people are really friendly. So if you ever want to reach out to anybody, here's my email. Here's how you can do that. Kind of have a whole thing that I go over with them. And some people they'll actually do that. They go, oh, that's great. I didn't know anybody in this game, and now I can actually ask. And they'll ask questions, and they have a lot of fun. And I've seen some of them stick around, and they've been in the game for a while now. And that's fun when you get to kind of help somebody with those questions, because I didn't have that in the beginning, the first couple, until I started going to events, and then I had people take me under their wing and teach me all kinds of stuff. That was great, but I'd have been lost otherwise.
Neil made a good comment as well. He said maybe we need to start inviting noobs to events through messaging, and I think that's a good way to do it. I wish it just made me think that if only there was a way to broadcast through geocaching, because we've got things like Facebook groups and localized social media and stuff, but if somebody starts geocaching, there's really no way to that they'll learn anything through a broadcast means, except through the newsletter from Groundspeak. When they used to list off all the upcoming events in the newsletter, that was helpful. I don't think they do that anymore.
No, they used to. That was years ago. I think you have to opt into that now instead of opt out of it. I think that's because of the whatever, I don't know, some computer stuff, right? But I think in the beginning they could just automatically sign everybody up for that, and I think now you have to opt into that messaging.
Yeah, I think you do too. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna probably go back and look at one of my emails real quick, because I get them. That's what part of being able to get an Adventure Lab. You have to opt in for those emails so they you can get the announcements.
Well, another thing I guess you could do is encourage people to use the new dashboard for the calendar on the side, because they don't really advertise that you've got a calendar of upcoming events right on the corner of
I love that
dashboard.
thing.
Right.
And that can be a way to reach out to new people as well if they knew about it.
Not that we have time to get into it tonight, but a lot of those it's for another show, right? I know.
That's for another show.
That's right.
Please drink responsibly.
A lot of those
don't drink and cash. Go ahead.
Those advancements that they've been adding to the dashboard and other things are really handy.
Yeah.
And I hope people are taking advantage of those, because there's a lot of information on there that it may not apply to everybody, but I love what they've been doing with those.
I still use the old dashboard and I switch over for the calendar.
You can flip back and forth. Yeah.
I fully adopted all the new stuff. I'm always resistant at first, but I fully adopted everything new that they have right now.
I like that you can flip back and forth between the different ones, but
yeah.
Another thought, and I don't know if they could do this, but you could have if it's your first find and you like log it and put found and you click it and you click OK, it'd be interesting if they would show something like you have to like mandatory. You have to see this to try to help people.
This is pretty interesting. They've often thought of creating a somewhat canned message to send to folks that find one of my basic membership caches because it's their first cache.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. If you notice somebody finding one of your caches, it's one of their first couple caches.
right.
It's not a bad idea to reach out to them. They can always just ignore you, right? But
Right.
they make it available to be able to reach out to people and kind of invite them into the fold. And
Sure.
a lot of people that get in this game are very solitary, but they'll open up if they feel comfortable enough.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a bad idea. You know, again, it goes back to the same thing with the profile, kind of letting people know that there's local events. You know, that may be your thing that you put on your profile. Hey,
Right.
if you're in this area, there's a local event every Monday night, or, you know, whatever, every once a month, or, you know, the people are friendly. Here's my email. Call, you know, if you need help and you're a new cacher, let us know. There's a lot of stuff with your logs too. You know, you put contact information in there, you reach out to people, and it should be a friendly exchange of information anytime, you know, when you're doing the cache.
I think the only real place that you can openly put information passively would be your profile, because you can't really announce upcoming events in cache listings. Logs drop down in
Too
time.
far, right?
Right.
There's not really any good way to broadcast anybody who sees things.
I don't know how you would broadcast information like that.
Yeah. Like Neil said, just messaging people and saying, hey, did you know about this event coming up? If they look like a new user locally, then that might be the best way to do it right now.
Well, always be an ambassador, right? I mean, always be an ambassador for the game.
Yeah.
And the word of mouth, like when people join because of friends, it's a little easier because there's a connection there. But if people download the app and start, they've got no connection with people. Everything they learn is from what basically the app shows them. And if they don't have a premium account, they don't get notifications, they don't get alerts, all of that stuff. It's really, really limited what their knowledge can be apart from what HQ decides to show them as a 101, as a guide.
Right.
Geocache Talk, 1,000 subscribers.
We did it.
It's pretty good. I love it.
Good job, y'all. Good job. 1,000. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you.
Hey, now we can stream directly from Mingo.
Right. We could go stream directly.
Mm-hmm.
And now live from Mingo.
Without using Wi-Fi.
Without Wi-Fi.
Not Wi-Fi, from cell phone.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's kind of wrap up. We got a couple last things we want to do, but what are some final? Just go around. Everybody take a moment. And
for me, I would say that there's a kind of a theme we're putting together this tonight before the Corona stuff, but it kind of plays into it as well, right? You should always be a good ambassador of the game. You should always be trying to put a good image out there and help other cachers. But also, you know, like with the profile page, that's a chance to welcome people. That's a chance to let people know who you are in your profile. The logs are that too. Most of the people that you haven't met or haven't been to an event to see or whatever else, you learn of them and about them from their logs.
yes,
You see their logs more than you know before you meet them. So that's a big representation of yourself. So you can always be the TFTC cacher, or you know, you don't have to write a 10-page story every time you find an LPC. Don't be ridiculous. But you can always be courteous when you're doing things, and you can be helpful. And same way with your profile. And I think it's all just really a reflection of who you are and who you are in the game. So that's kind of my thoughts on that.
yeah, that's great. Jeff?
Well, what just came to mind, I guess, is what you were saying about that. What I have now when I post logs is a template, and that includes a few links. So you could even include some contact information, not too long, because it's really annoying when you look at a log and 3/4 of it is just boilerplate links and all that stuff.
Sure.
But like just a little bit of guidance even in your logs, so that even if it's like a new cacher it's their first cache that they've placed, and they get your log and they read through it, there's a little more information right there about 101s, how to hide, how to find, things like that. And that could be helpful. Or if new cachers are just looking through past logs, then they'll see that as well. So I mean, there's a number of ways to go about it, and I've kind of adopted that signature aspect of log posting, so I might update that for some 101 links.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting aspect to helping the community and growing the community, which it would be nice if HQ would find some way to allow people to do that a little better, if that makes sense. To reach out or to somehow make it so that there's a little more connection with new individuals. There are those. So there are some caches in my local town that are found so often by names I've never seen before.
Right.
And then there's some caches that are only found by people I know. And it's weird, like
Mhm.
how do people choose which caches to find and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot of
always
people out there who are just starting.
Yeah, that is a weird anomaly. I've seen that too, where you're like, why did they go to these 5 caches and not these 5 caches? It's like, what was the mentality of skipping over this one? But yeah, I'm just
I
glad
don't
we
know
find
how some of them land on my caches because it shouldn't fit in the initial few.
right,
Like you can only do like 1515s, right? At first,
right.
if you have the basic profile membership and
That's
certain
true.
types,
I
traditionals,
think
and
it's up to 2 or 2.5 now. But
yeah. So there must be some workaround that some people are doing because
Or how they're finding. Yeah.
yeah.
Derek, what are some of your final thoughts tonight?
Well, I agree with Jeff on the kind of doing one-on-one stuff on your on the profile or not profile profile would be a good place to do it as well, but also on the logs itself, because I do have a link to my YouTube channel and I have a lot of geocaching one-on-one stuff on there. So I think that's a really great idea. Learned a lot on adding more stuff to your profile, like what Jesse had on there. And
Right.
unfortunately, sorry, Jesse, your profile's probably blowing up as we're all searching for.
I've got a lot of emails tonight so far.
That's good.
Well, there's a lot of people in the chat room. I think they're waiting for us to get off air so they can go find them. But that was really cool because I have, like I said, on mine, that's just very basic to where I just have the big, huge Project GC on there, and I want to go and expand some more stuff to it. So I think that's really good. But go on the coronavirus, just be nice. Don't be stupid. Don't overreact on any of this. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I mean, we may have to change a few things that we're doing, and we may not be able to have large gatherings for a little bit. But you know what? A lot of us geocachers go solo anyways. We can go get those long hikes that we've been putting off and try to figure out, get out there and get out in the woods. Go get virtuals. Go get Adventure Labs. Go do that kind of stuff. We can still have fun.
Yeah. But also know the local regulations, because there are some,
Exactly.
if there's countries out there that might be listening and they have regulations, you cannot leave your house.
Right.
You can't go geocaching.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, like right now, I just heard, got a message that here in Tennessee, and I got to go and look at it, that you may not be able to have any gatherings of more than 50 people. But that's something I saw on Facebook. I haven't researched it, so and just make sure that you're checking things out and testing, finding out what is happening. Is it actually true, or is it just somebody making stuff up?
Or suggesting.
Yeah, and still go check on all the local cachers that you have contacts with. Even if you can't do it in person, shoot them an email and say, hey, just thinking about you, making sure they're okay, because there is fear out there and people are freaking out and taking everything as gospel that they read on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. And just make sure everybody's okay. This is the time where we got to pull together as geocachers, right?
Right. And don't even just limit it to geocachers. Check out on your next door neighbors too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So stop hoarding and wash your hands.
Yeah, that's right.
It's my words. So a couple things real quick before we wrap up tonight. Just a reminder, we have a not 10, not 20, 30% discount for listeners during March for Ride in the Rain, RITE. There you go. There's the promo code. Oh, let me drop this so I can see it better. There you go. Promo code Geocache for Ride in the Rain. Jesse's got, show them off. Jesse.
My little toys that I got.
All that stuff you got.
I got all kinds of. I got a whole bag full of stuff.
I got a whole thing of copier paper, and I'm just cutting them up and making logs out of this. But
I even got a pen too to go with it, so I'm really excited
nice,
about that.
nice, all weather. Just another quick update from on the Ride in the Rain. Just good. Here's a good example: is Sean Lacey, the gentleman that joined us 2 weeks ago. I think I've lost track.
I know it seems like it's been
A recent show. Sean has been working with Bounce,
mhm.
which is really cool, and we are going to be able to place a gadget cache
Oh,
at Right in the Rain at their headquarters.
Ooh.
So all been approved, everything's good, and very excited to kind of embrace what you see Right in the Rain paper, but I don't think anybody's really reached out to them and said, "Hey, we love your products. We're geocachers. We love your products. Because their products are used. I think Jesse said used them in law enforcement.
Mhm.
They're used in many areas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, you see the idea. Hey, you know, or that stuff.
Holiosti, he says you can hoard the Ride in the Rain stuff. Yes, sir. You can hoard that. Go ahead and do that, my friend. So that is really cool that they're going to do that. And Sean is going to start taking his family out geocaching. So he did it a while when he was younger,
Mhm.
and he's really embraced the idea of really getting out and doing that. So very excited to. Yep, there you go. Right in the Rain.
Yeah, we'll put the website up.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
stop in the store we want pictures. If you stop in the store once they get it published, we want pictures of the cache. You at the cache.
Yes. Please let them know that you heard about it, know about it because of Geocache Talk. That really helps us as well, because that will be that connection. We heard back that they are very pleased with and somewhat surprised. I mean, they don't know us, but they were a little bit surprised. They're like, wow, there's a lot of people that are purchasing using the code, and that's what they want. They want that. And so that has also been a wonderful thing for us. We thank everybody who's made purchases. Please continue, because again, that will solidify with us and Right in the Rain that relationship, and we can then provide you, because we talked to them about this in the futures, to provide other types of discounts and other types of bonus items that you might be able to get from Right in the Rain as time goes on. We might be able to provide everyone who listens different types of discounts or products. So that'll be a nice connection relationship.
Did you talk to him about getting a regular Right in the Rain logbook that had geocache talk on it?
Oh,
That would be
yeah,
cool.
that's pretty cool. Well, and for this group, right? Like we're always talking about how you can not just geocache, but geocache better. This is the group that wants to put out good caches and put out good logs and put out good things like that. You want to, when you put out a cache, you want to have that Right in the Rain. So it's a perfect company to work with, because you want to have the best quality of everything when you're doing it. Why not be the best when you're doing it? So
right,
yeah,
absolutely. So another quick note as far as upcoming shows. So next week we're going to be on at a special time. We're going to be on at 3 p.m. We have Julio Gomez from Spain. So we're going to be connecting with him, and we're going to have a show about Spanish geocaching and Portuguese geocaching and some of the other locations around him, some countries around him of where he has been geocaching, and also just kind of get it. It's always fun to get a feel for other countries and what do they use for containers, and what is he. We'll talk a little bit about the mega that they're going to have this year. Hopefully, it's in the fall, so hopefully that'll all be okay. But just kind of get a feel for things that he's been involved with. So that'll be fun. That's special time next week, 3 p.m. Central Time for the show, 3 p.m. Central Time for the for the Julio geocaching in Spain. He's going to be on. It's like 10 o'clock his time or 9 o'clock his time. They haven't flipped over the time yet, but they're probably about to. They might have done it this week. We're trying to figure it out, but it'll be 3 p.m. Central. Also this week on Wednesday we have the Geocache Talk Presents, another one of our 5 podcasts. This is the audio only podcast, and it comes out monthly. Comes out third Wednesday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
Last Wednesday, which second Wednesday of every month, you get the geocaching with kids, and that was great. Thank you, Derek, for putting that together for us.
Thank you.
And then the week after, having Julio on, we're going to have Peanuts or Pretzels on the road. I don't know if anybody remembers, we had them on a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Peanuts or Pretzels, it's a great couple. They are literally living on the road. They live out of a RV, and they travel, and they have a website, and their website's incredible, by the way. Go check out Peanuts or Pretzels, peanutsorpretzels.com. Don't do or Peanuts or Pretzels, even though there's 2 of them. It's not and or, but their website is Peanuts or Pretzels. So we're gonna have them on in a couple of weeks from their RV or near some sort of Wi-Fi they can get on, and we're very excited. We had them on long ago, and we're gonna get them back on. And Sherry mentioned about the memory lane that's coming up.
We teased a little bit. We don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We might talk about it when it gets a little closer. So the next Gadget Cast podcast, good question. That is, we were both clicking at the same time. That is the end of the month. It'll be the last Tuesday of the month, and if that serves me correctly, it'll be 3/31. So March 31st. The links out on the website for Gadget Talk. If you go to geocachetalk.com, there's a page for Gadget Talk, and if you go over there, there's the description for this next month's completing. We're going to complete the Circuit Lock Decipher.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a step up from last time too.
We'll step up, yep. But we've got the parts out there. Not very expensive, but the parts are there. You can purchase. We also give suggestions as far as tools are concerned as well. So we'll be ready to go for that one in March 31st. So good stuff. All right. I think we're done for tonight. Let me do our thank you, Derek, for the outro. Here we go.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.